Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Creating Cards with Debbie. I apologize. I'm probably a minute late here. So the time got away from me. So I apologize for that. But we're all here right now. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, I am Creating Cards with Debbie, and my name is Debbie Foster. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm located in Bismarck, Arkansas, and I want to welcome you here today. Be sure that you like and share the video when you come on. If you're watching it on either Facebook or on YouTube, I appreciate either one. So, also, I'd like for you to comment, say hello, and say where you're watching from. It's kind of fun to see where everybody is. So let me just catch my breath here and give a moment for everybody to get here. I'm kind of disembobulated this morning. I'm kind of rushing around, and one of the cards I was going to do is not available right now for the product, so I wanted to switch it out a little bit. I like to show things that you're able to buy. So speaking of that, let me go ahead and let you know where you can shop in my store at. It is scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. It is www.debbiefoster.stampinup.net, and be sure that you check out the online exclusives in there, and also the section that has the last chance products. We are going to be using some of those today, and I'll let you know how much they've been discounted to. So that's always fun to know. All right. I just let that scroll for a moment. Let me take that off. And then we're going to talk about Paper Pumpkin. First off, though, let me get back up the bus here. We're going to talk about what we've got going on. It started yesterday. It is free shipping, and that is 3 days only. It was yesterday, today, and the 12th. So 10 to the 12th, 3 days only. You save on orders of $75 or more. You don't pay any shipping charges. So you might want to take advantage of that. That's a big savings too on your order. All right, now let's get back to Paper Pumpkin. This is our new Paper Pumpkin kit that started today. Yes, it runs until January 10th. And we've got till January 10th to sign up for that one. It is called Special Delivery. Let me get my paperwork here, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. It says Special Delivery, and it says subscribe until January 10th. And that'll be 2026 already. It says send heartfelt Valentines featuring sweet postage stamp designs and sentiments for love and friendship. It makes 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs, 3 different coordinating envelope designs, pre-cut paper pieces with gold foil accents. And the Stampin' Spot that goes with this is going to be the Poppy Parade. And it says that the kit arrives in a lovely coordinating box. So look how pretty that box is. Love those flowers. And along with that, you can add on the add-on dies. And those are called Beautiful Blooms dies, add-ons. And these will coordinate with the January, February, and March Paper Pumpkin kits. But you have to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber in order to get the dies to go along with it. So 2 new things that started today. Okay. And to sign up for Paper Pumpkin, I've got the link right there that you can click on to sign up for that. And the product of the month is still going on for the December one. They are called, let's see, what is the name of that? It says the product of the month, True Blue Florals, 12 by 12 designer series paper. And it has lovely monochromatic colors. And these are, you're able to add this onto your order, an extra $5 if your order reaches $75, which that would fit in real good right now with the free shipping. You get free shipping on $75 on the product of the month, which is this designer series paper, which is really pretty. So again, if you have any questions, reach out to me. Let me remove that. And I think I have any other news. I also want to invite you to join my team, which that is you get a starter kit for $99. You choose $125 worth of product, and there's no shipping charge on that either. So that might be something might want to consider. If your order is $99 or more, you can get a little extra to go along with it. And you don't have to do what I do. You can just do it to get your discount each order that you put in after that. You get a discount of at least 20%. So that's a little extra incentive. So if you have any questions, reach out to me. I'd be glad to answer those. And here's the website if you want to add that, but it's also in the description of the video. So, all right. So let me comments here so I can watch as people come on and say hello. Okay. I think I've gone over everything that I need to today. I'm kind of disarrayed a little bit because I had to change out a project this morning in a hurry, and you know how that can be. It stresses you out. So let's go ahead and change my camera around here and we'll get started. Hope everybody's had a good week. Ours didn't start out very well. Our senior cat, our other cat, Tabby, she wasn't eating for a few days, so we had to have her put down, go over the Rainbow Bridge. That was Monday. She was 14 years old, so other than that, she's a healthy cat, and we weren't expecting that. We were expecting Cooter because he's the one that's our diabetic and won't take a shot, so it's just a matter of time for him, I guess. So that was kind of traumatic for us to start the week with. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. I think I'm going to start out with a card, and then I'm going to do a 3D project, and then I'll do another card if we have time. Okay, so this is Just Because card. And on the inside, you've been on my mind. And this is we're using the Designer Series paper, the Brushed with Beauty. And we're using this sheet right here. Well, no, the back side of this one. And then the front side, this one. So those two. And the stamp set that's going to be used with that is going to be the Words of Beauty, the dies and the stamp set. And these are new ones. They're in our online exclusives. So we'll go ahead and do those. Let me get all my bits and pieces arranged here. Get situated. All right, we're going to start out our card base. I need to turn my chair around here so I can work. Our card base is going to be our Mossy Meadow, and it measures 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and then it's scored in the center at 5 1/2 inches. So we're going to burnish that fold line with our bone folder. And I don't know what I did with my measurements. I don't have my instructions, so we're going to have to play this by ear. Okay. And the dies that we're going to be using come from the Textured Notes dies. And I'm going to be using 2 different sizes. I'm going to use, just measuring the largest one. And then, let's see, this would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4th largest. And I've cut those, our Designer Series paper out, and I'm using this pattern. And this is the largest one, the largest die, cut that out. And again, I did use 2 different sizes here. I thought they're both the same. Let me get that next one out. Where did it go? Okay, this one would be the the third to the largest, the first largest, and then the fourth to the largest. Get back in there so I don't lose them. So the larger one, I cut out this pattern, and then oops, that's the wrong one. And then I drop it. Like I said, I'm disembobulated today, so I've got dropsies. All right, the striped pattern is the larger one, and then the smaller one is the flowers. We'll get our dies out of the way, and we'll start assembling our card. All right, we're going to start with the largest one. We're going to attach that to our card base using my Tombow glue. And we'll put that down centered on top of our card front. Yeah. That ain't very centered. That's awful crooked. Let me see if I can get that back off of there. Try that again. Well, still isn't straight. What is going on with me today? Move this up so I can see what I'm doing. Well, we're going to leave it as is. It doesn't look right to me. I've got it off to the right a little bit too far. All right, and then we're going to lay down our striped paper on top of that at an angle. And then our next one with the flowers, we'll put that on top of that at a little bit of an angle, kind of straight, but kind of at an angle a little bit, kind of off keister a little bit. All right, so it'll look like this. And then put the labels away. I need to use them yet. My dies. I die cut a label out of here. This is out of the Words of Beauty dies. Oh, goodness. See, like I said, I've got dropsies today. I'm using this die right here to cut that out, which I already did. And get those out. And the word is just that we're going to use. And I used these two. I cut out the pretty in pink with the shadow die, which is this one. And the word itself, oops. I'll put this die. The Skinny Just word. And right here. Okay, so those are the dies that we used. And then I'm going to take my skinny word, I'm going to attach that to the shadow. And I'm going to just use my skinny bottle of glue here, fine point, and just dab some glue on there. You know, I still haven't found my silicone mat yet. I don't know where it disappeared to. I wonder if it got thrown in the trash or something. And we're going to add that to our shadow layer. And I've already took out the eye, the dot, and put that on there so I didn't lose it. I did that ahead of time. All right, we're going to set that aside. We're going to bring our because stamp over here. And we're going to stamp that using our black Memento ink. And we're going to stamp because right in the middle of our banner. I need to bring that down here so I can get it centered. Because. And we're going to start assembling our card. This is going to go down first, right about centered. And then our just is going to go above that. So it says just because. Put my cap on my fine tip glue so it doesn't plug up on me. We'll bring back over our regular bottle. I'm going to kind of put that at an angle. We don't have to keep it straight. And this will go on top of that. Okay, and kind of center it on there, not covering because word. It's just above it. And then I made a double bow using our early espresso and old olive linen thread pack. It has the old olive and then the early espresso. We're using the earliest, well, old olive. And I'm going to take one of my mini glue dots to put that on there. Take the pick tool. And I'm going to set that bow right at the lower portion of our banner. Try not to cover up my words. And then we're going to add a little bit of bling to that. We're going to use the low profile sparkle dots. And I'm going to grab the green. Well, come on. There we go. Put one there. And small one above that. And another big one at the bottom right hand corner. And right about there. And then for our inside layer, we've got our very vanilla. It's 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And we're going to stamp our sentiment in there. And because you've been on my mind, so it's going to be, you've been on my mind. And I'm going to put that upper right hand corner. Close up our ink pad. And we're going to attach that to the inside of our card. All right. So there is card number 1, just because you've been on my mind. All right, so I think we're going to go on to our 3D project now. And let me get everything here. I don't have a sample to show you. Well, yes, I do, but it's not finished yet. This is what I started doing with my retired designer series paper. I did my sample with. So I've got Just For You, and then I velcroed to hold it shut. And then I've got 3 note cards in here, and I'm going to do a couple get well cards and 1 sympathy card in this packet to give to somebody. So it says, hope you're feeling better soon. May you feel God's care and healing as you recover. And that's one of our new stamp sets. So, but I'm going to do this one. It's going to be, oops, something is catching there. It's going to be thank you cards for Christmas. It's always nice to send out a thank you card to somebody that gives you a gift or something special. So that's what we're going to do today. So it's a little pouch that holds 3 note cards. Okay, but we're going to use Christmas paper here. That's the Traditions of Christmas, it's called. Yeah, Traditions of Christmas designer series paper that we're using, and then real red cardstock. Okay, move some things out of my way here. And I'm using 2 different stamp sets. I'm going to use the traditional labels bundle, and then the With You in Mind, I'm going to use the thank you for our cards. Okay. I'm going to bring my scoring board over here. I've cut 2 cardstocks. One measures 3 3/4 inches by 10 inches, and then the other one measures 3 3/4 inches by 9.5 inches. This is the larger one. This is a 10 inch. This is a 9.5 inch. So we're going to do some scoring on here, and I need to bring my instructions over here. So we're going to take the 10 inch one, the 3 3/4 by 10 inch cardstock, and we're going to score that one at 5 1/4 inches and 6 inches. That's all we're going to do on that larger one, the 10 inch. But on the 9.5 inch, we're going to do a few extra things. We're going to score that at 3 3/4 inches, 4.5 inches, 8 1/4 inch, and again at 9 inches. And then we're going to turn that, and we're going to score along that left side at 3/4 inches. Okay, that's all the scoring we're going to do. Put this back. And now we're going to burnish our score lines. I'm going to grab my bone folder. That's a good crease. And then again, this is going to be the flap for our card box. It'll look like that. Now we're going to grab our larger one, and we're going to burnish those score lines also. So yesterday we had to take JoJo to the doctor to the vet. Jack had her outside playing ball like he normally does in the mornings after we have our coffee. And he threw her ball against the fence in the backyard, and it went into some tall grass or something or other, and she came out of there, actually got her ball, and she went to sneezing like crazy, and she wouldn't stop. So like 30 minutes later, she was still doing it. So we took her to see her doctor, and they weren't sure exactly what happened, some kind of pollen or something. I guess there was an old mushroom that was laying there, so we don't know if that caused it. But anyway, she was kind of puzzled what happened and wasn't sure how to treat her, so she gave her a steroid shot and some antihistamines. And she seems a little better this morning. So we're just kind of watching her. She's got medicine for 3 days to take, so hopefully that takes care of the problem. But if it ain't one thing, it's another, it seems like. All right, now we're going to cut up our score lines, and I'm going to cut that kind of at a pie. Up to that score line. And we'll pull those off of there. And we'll do this one also. I just poked myself with the scissors. It's pretty sharp. Okay. And then we can just snip this little tab off. Completely. So your box will look like this. So this is the bottom. All right, now we're going to take our tear and tape, and we're going to attach to this one area here, the little tab. And I'm just going to use one strip of tear and tape. It's a small area, so it doesn't need that much. And take your pick tool, it's right here. Lift off that paper backing. Put that back a little bit. Then we're going to fold this over on top of that, making sure it's even. And there's our box so far. But we're going to attach our flaps on the bottom. Put those in. And my seam is where, I want to figure out where the back is. There's the back. Put that one down first, and then this one on top. I'm going to bring my tear and tape and put that on there again. My roll is almost gone. Just enough, I think. It's all gone. Whoops. And I got to get a new one because that's not sticking. Well, let's scrap that. I don't have any more tear and tape here, so we're just going to use our liquid glue. And I've got more tear and tape somewhere, but I'm not going to take the time to look for it right now. So we'll improvise and just use our liquid glue. Back down. I'm going to take my bone folder to press that down to make sure it sticks. All right, a little longer. Okay. All right, now we have our designer series paper, and this one measures 2.5 inches by 6 inches. This is going to go across our box, our bottom layer. So I'm just going to add my glue to that. And you want to put enough on there that it's going to stick, because you're going to be going around corners and such. Okay, so here's the front of our box. And make sure I get these right side up. And we're going to wrap that along our front area. And then bring it back around the sides. Well, it's taking some time to dry. I should have put this on before I glued it together. It would have been easier. Well, the glue isn't sticking very good today. Sit down, hold it a second. Okay. That's okay. Now we're going to attach our top flap onto that. So it's going to go onto the back side. So I'm just going to add my glue to my box itself. And again, I'm going to put a little extra. Your shorter flap is going to go on the front. So the long one is the back side. And I'm just going to butt that up against it. And press that down with my bone folder, get inside there, give it a good press. Okay, and then next I'm going to bring out my Velcro dots. I've got, thinking I only need one. I think so. I'm going to place that into my flap of my lid on the inside. And I'm going to put it centered. Press that down so it attaches good. And then tear out this backing of the other one. And I'm going to take my stamp pad and hold in there to hold it. And I want to make sure that I'm keeping the top edge straight. And even, and then we're going to press that down so it attaches. Flip that off. Get rid of our stamp pad. And then I've got another layer that we're going to add to our front of our card, our box. And get that out here, it's hiding. And this measures 3 5/8 inches by 3 7/8 inches. And trying to figure which is upside down here. That looks like it's right. We're going to attach that to our front flap. And I think I'm going to open that up all the way and then set it down flat so I can get a good surface to glue it to. And keeping a small edge going around. Okay, and then close that again. Looking pretty. All right, now let's work on our note cards. And these can be found in my store, the note cards. They come in a package of 10 of the envelopes and the card bases. And the number is 159232. These are just the basic note cards. They're not the large ones, they're the small. But you still can mail these in the mail, so it's no problem. And okay, so we've got 3 layers. We're going to do 3 cards. I'm going to start out with my basic white, which measures 3 1/4 by 4 3/4 inches, 3 of those. And then I've got our designer series paper that I've cut, and that measures 3 inches by 4.5 inches. So we're going to go ahead and start gluing these on. My bottle of glue is getting down towards the end. I've got to shake it a little bit. Right, and turn that. So is everybody done with their Christmas shopping? We went and did a little bit yesterday. I've still got one more to get, plus Jack's. I haven't gotten his yet either. I'm kind of slow getting started this year. All right, number 2. And number 3. I love this paper. I know it's unavailable right now, but it's supposed to be back in next week. I think they said the week of the 15th, so it's not too long before it comes back. Okay, so there's our 3 card fronts, and I'm going to bring my card over here. I want 3. 1, 2, and number 3. And 3 envelopes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's set our envelopes aside. And we're going to burnish our fold lines on our card bases. These are nice and thick too, they're not flimsy. You know, sometimes you buy card bases and they're not substantial at all. That's what I'm trying to say here. But these are a good weight to them. And attach those. We're going to go landscape on these, I believe. Well, this one could be different. We'll figure it out when we get there. And place that on the center. I should have gone with a different color than white. I don't know why I chose white. I should have gone with the red. Well, it's too late now. I should have done the red matte on that instead of the white. I really should have. I don't like that. Well. I I've already got them glued down. Well, let me change. Let me cut my own bases. I'll use my little red. Because I don't like that white on white with that. It doesn't look right. So these measure 7 inches by 5 inches. So well, I'm struggling here today for some reason. Seven inch. Five inches. And then score it at 3.5 inches. So I'm just going to do one and see what I think. I think that's what I'm going to do, is change them out. Burnish that. And attach this. Oh yeah, I like the red better. See what a difference. I like the red. All right, let me. How big is this? That's 4 inches. No. Give me another red cardstock. Now, come here. Oh, I can't even grab hold of my paper here. Okay, it's 7, so let's go 5. And it's 7 inches long. And then score it at 3.5. All right, so we're going to have 2 red ones and 1 white one. Finish that whole line. We have our card over here. Get these out of the way. Okay, much better. Okay, so we got 2 red ones, 1 white one. All right, now we're going to work on the sentiment. And I've already die cut our basic white with this die. And it comes from the traditional labels dies. We've got quite an assortment in there. We're using this one. I've already die cut those. Did I do 3? Yeah, I did. And we're going to stamp thank you on these. Oh, I didn't finish my boxer. We got to go back and do that too. Let me go ahead and continue with these. So I'm stamping the thank you. And I'm going to use the real red stamp pad. This is my old pad. It still works. We're going to stamp all three. All right. We'll close up our ink pen. And I'm just going to attach these in the middle. Very simple. I'm not putting much embellishments or anything on it. It's got a lot of gold foil in there, so it doesn't really need it. And all right, and then put that centered middle of our card. Very simple thank you card. All right, there's the white and there's the red. Okay, and then on the inside we need 2 white layers in there. So let me grab my basic white. And that is going to be, what was it, 3 and a half. Just go 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, 4 3/4. 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. I'm only going to cut 2 of those because the other one's got a white layer on the inside. I don't need to add to it. And we're going to stamp. Well, I didn't put any cinnamon on the inside, did I? We could go with thank you. I can't thank you enough. Yeah, I think I'll use that one. This is the Banner Sayings stamp set. There you go. And right here. Okay. And I'm going to stamp that centered. Okay, I'm going to turn this over. My K didn't stamp very good. Okay, and my white card here. We'll just stamp the inside of that. Close up the ink pad. attach these to the inside of those red cards. Okay. And the red card. You could add a ribbon or some gems to this if you wanted to, but I'm just going to leave mine plain. May add to it later, I don't know. Okay, so one white one and two red ones. Thank you. And I can't thank you enough on the inside. And our envelopes, we got 3 envelopes. Put this inside of our box. Close it up. And we need to add our label to the front. And I stamped just for you on that label. And I think I'm going to put that on dimensionals. So let's bring our dimensionals over here. I think I'll put 2 at the top, and 2 at the bottom, and then 1 in the center. Take off those backings. Just for you. You could add some ribbon or embellishments to our label. So there's our cards. You could probably fit 1 more in there, fairly comfortable. So it could be 4 cards if you wanted to, but I'm just sticking with the 3. So that's our project, 3D project, along with our Get Well cards. So send those to your people after you get your gifts from them. Be a nice little thank you card for them. So there's that. All right, we got time to do another one. Let's go ahead and do another one. All right. This is a little fun fold. And it opens like this. Open there, and then open there. And then the back is just a card base with my instructions. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with that. I'm going to start out with our card base being our mossy meadow. And that measures 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. And our designer series paper that we're using comes from the Painterly Pears. And I'm using this pattern right here. And our designer series paper measures 6 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and then it's scored at 4 inches. That's going to be our right side of our card. Let me get my bone folder back here. And this is going to go onto our card base, like so. This way you get to see both sides of the paper, which is nice. And I'm getting down to the bottom of my bottle here. And you want to make sure your flap is on the right side. Center that. opens like this. And we're going to set that aside for a moment, and we're going to work on the smaller card that measures, it's 4 inches by 5.5 inches, and it's scored in the middle at 2 3/4 inches. We're going to burnish that fold line, and we're going to bring our layers over here. This is the inside, our basic weight, and that measures 2.5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. We'll go right here, and I think I'm supposed to have another one. No. And then our designer series paper is going to go on that front flap, and that measures 2 5/8 inches by 3 7/8 inches. So we'll go ahead and attach that to the front of our little card. Well, come on, glue. Let's get us through the rest of these before you run out completely. I do have another bottle here, I think. Yeah, just in case. So we're going to center that on our front flap of our little card. And open that up, and let's go ahead and stamp the inside of our card. And I didn't show which stamp sets I'm using. I'm using the Perfectly Pears, and these are on the last chance list. So you can get the stamp set itself for $14. It was $20, and then the dies were $27, and they're marked down to $16.20. So you're better off buying them separately, not as a bundle. So we're going to get started here. Bring all the stamps I need over here. And what did I do with my black ink? Well, goodness gracious. In my mess here, there it is, hiding. Our black memento ink. And we're going to stamp a sentiment on the inside, which says, "A good friend is a gift." And upper center. And we're going to attach that to the inside of our card. All right, now we're going to attach this to the card. And it's going to go like this. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my glue to the back of the card. And I'm going to kind of center this. That looks like it's straight. And then we're going to press that down. It's going to open like this. But wait, there's more. I've got a basic weight that measures. I get to put the dimensions on there. It measures 2 inches by 2.5 inches. And we're going to stamp our images on there, and my black memento ink again. I'm using the cluster of the small pears image, and I want to put it up a little bit so I can squeeze my sentiment underneath there. And then we're going to stamp hello right at the bottom left-hand corner. Close up our black ink. And then I'm going to bring over my Darling Duckling and Petal Pink. So I'm going to do the Darling Duckling first. And I'm going to stamp that off once. Okay, just a pale Darling Duckling. And do my Simply Chamois to clean that off. And I'm going to change to the Petal Pink. Tap that dry a little bit. And we're going to stamp the pears again, the Petal Pink. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to bring out our Stampin' Blends and color in the rest of it. I'm using Mossy Meadow, the light and the dark, and then the Secret Sea. I do the stem first with the Secret Sea. Okay, and then the Mossy Meadow, we're going to color in our leaves. I'm starting with the light. Trying to be careful so I don't mess it up. I don't want to stamp it again. And all right. And then we'll come back in with the dark Mossy Meadow and we'll do some shading here. All right, that looks good. Card back over here, and we're going to place that onto the front of that small card. It's getting to the bottom. And place that centered on that small card. And then next we have our Mossy Meadow and gold. Mossy Meadow and gold trim. Okay. And did I make up all? I did. I did. I already made ahead of time. So you can see it's pretty. It's got gold with the Mossy Meadow. And our bowl got kind of messed up here. Let me straighten him up a little bit. And we'll grab our mini glue dots, which were here. And they're there. They were hiding. And stick that onto to the back of our ribbon. Take your pick tool, lift that off, and we're going to attach that to the upper corner. And I'm going to trim those ribbon down a little bit. And we need to add some embellishments to this. So we're going to use, these are the low profile sparkle dot. And I'm going to go with the green again. Take your pick tool, lift those off with, and grab a large one, maybe, and we'll place that up here. And our other ones are going to go at the bottom corner here. So I'm going to do a large one and a small one. All right. So here's our third card. Well, our last project. It says hello. And it opens this way, and it says a good friend is a gift. They truly are. Okay, so that concludes our projects for today. We'll bring those out here. Oops, get them down in camera view. And take this out and show. Those in camera view. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the projects today, and I appreciate if you like and share the video. It brings me more viewers. And we will be back next Thursday, which will be the 18th of December already. And same time, same channels, YouTube and Facebook. So until then, y'all have a good rest of the week. I hope you get some time in there to do some crafting this week in between the Christmas preparations. I haven't even started my Christmas baking yet. I need to start thinking about that. But that's all for today. And like I said, I'll see you next Thursday, December 18th, 2025 at the same time, 10:30 Central Time, 11:30 Eastern, 9:30 Mountain, and 8:30 Pacific Time. So until then, bye-bye. Thanks for being here.